Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this panel. We'll be talking about the future of investment with AI. My name is Alina Ashkenazi Yildiz. I'm a partner at Artifact. And it's my pleasure to host this conversation. We have quite an impressive lineup of speakers who are the heavy hitters in the world of investment. So let me do the introductions. First, I'll start with Marie to my right. Marie is the founder of 2050. It's a science-based regenerative fund. So don't hear that every day. A big portfolio, 135 million portfolio, and backing innovators in health, education, agriculture, climate. Welcome. We also have Anne-Laure here, who is representing Google. She's the head of Google Cloud AI go-to-market for EMEA South, working across many different industries, also including private equity and finance, and helping the customers leverage AI. We have Pauline Thompson, who is here representing Ardian, which is one of the biggest private equity houses, 192 billion of assets under management. Pauline actually is in charge of the data science team that supports both Ardian and portfolio companies. And just to make sure that her agenda is really full, she's also MD of infrastructure. Welcome. And last but not least, we've got Michael, who is one of the founders of Redstone, which is a European venture capital fund, around 200 portfolios under management. And you were one of the sort of early adopters building an analytics platform to actually help you find the right investments. So hopefully you can share a little bit about with us. So welcome, everyone. Let's start with Pauline. There are so many providers, so many technologies, so much to do with AI. Where did you choose to focus at Ardian, and are you pleased with the choices and how things are going?
Yeah, thanks, Elena. Hi, everyone. So on our side, we are a private equity fund, so not a tech company. So we try to focus on use cases and applications that are quite pragmatic. So I'm not going to talk about science fiction today, but what we anticipated is that especially generative AI for private equity is going to drive a huge acceleration of the market and of the speed of execution of transactions. So that's what we tried to anticipate. We are very satisfied of our choice because we worked with Artifact. And we developed a platform, an internal platform that allows all the employees of Ardian to safely, in a completely secured way, extract information, extract textual information from documents, compare documents. It basically allows much more productivity for collaborators, and so they can really focus on the analysis, on the higher value-added tasks. So that's what we have deployed, and now we are focusing on more specific use cases, still leveraging on this generative AI platform that allows all our teams, basically transversally at Ardian, to be more efficient. It's really a productivity gain that we try to focus on, and it's working very well. We are very pleased with that. It's the quickest adoption rate we've ever seen in the company in terms of application, because it's natural language, so everyone can interact with it. And now it's used on a weekly basis by more than half the company, and we deployed it a year ago, so it's a success.
Amazing. Do you feel that adopting AI is just very quickly accessible to everyone, or does it require an investment on your part in terms of skills, education, training?
It requires a lot of acculturation and training. What we quickly realized is that the less people know about AI, the more defensive they get. So if you want people to use the tools that you deploy, you need to train them. And so we did a lot of acculturation work. We did a hackathon. That has led to projects that are now in development at Ardian. We are now launching training sessions from COMEX members to really junior people in order to train people. And we have chosen a decentralized organization for our data science team. So it's not one team that focuses on things that no one understands. The data scientists are really within each investment team, and work hand in hand with the more traditional investment people. And that really also helps driving adoption.
Excellent, thank you, Pauline. Michael, so let's talk about this famous Sophia platform that we hear about. I don't think it's very common occurrence, I think, within this world. Can you tell us a little bit about it and how it's helping you to invest?
Yeah, very, very happy. So thanks for the invitation. With Redstone, when we founded Redstone 12 years ago, we actually said we're going to build two companies in one, essentially. And one was Sophia, which is our software and data platform, which came first, and then the investment house on top of it. And it essentially helps us in every single step. So there are hundreds of process steps in like creating a fund, investing, exiting. And a few examples. So, and what we do, we track millions of people, millions of founders, hundreds of thousands of investors. And maybe giving you a few examples. For example, we try to give a probability to roughly 500 million people on who will found a company, which you need early stage. So you want to be very early. Then obviously, if you have all the startups, or I would say 99.99% of the startups in the Western Hemisphere, when you do due diligence, you can, with one click of a button, you get a school grade for each startup, and then you can compare them. So you can really spend a lot of time on what matters, and when you have all the information, deciding where you want to invest. We also have a scorecard for millions of founders. So we basically then can compare teams and go through like all of the management team and the founders and compare them step by step. Okay, what profile do the 5 CTOs of the 5 startups in that space have? And then you add it up and give a company a complete score, and then you have more information, hopefully better information. And ultimately also, if, for example, you want to do an intro to somebody, we track all of the communication inside of Redstone, and then we give every member in Redstone a kind of strength of connection to certain people or companies. So because we have 200 portfolio companies, and like every day it was cluttered. Hey, who knows somebody at that company? Who knows this investor? Maybe you know that. And it's quite kind of disrupting. And now we have a platform. I click on, I don't know, Brembo. It's a breakage company, a automobile supplier. Who knows somebody there? Which person? I look up at the platform. I click one button and an automatic email is sent. Hey, can you please intro me or this company? And all of that makes us quite efficient in what we do, and it's really, we think of it not like just of a piece of technology, but really a complete operating system where we have combined many different data sources, many different platforms in one piece.
Amazing. And do you think, thanks to this platform, you've really found some companies that you would not have been able to find otherwise?
Oh, absolutely.
Any examples?
Yeah, no, I mean, for example, there's a company we invested in already some time ago. We just announced it, called Titus Robotics, which was an autonomous underwater drone spin out from ETH Zurich, which is one of, but about 50% of the companies we find. I still would argue it's not even the most important. The most important is really that you can operate super efficiently when you also have startups. Even if somebody sends you an inbound, within basically 30 seconds, you have a complete profile of the company, the complete ecosystem, scored and ranked, and that's really quite powerful. And it has helped us to, I think, make like consistently really good returns. We have initiated 16 funds, haven't lost money on any of them, which is quite rare in venture, and really good returns on most of them.
Very impressive. Marie, let's talk about AI in your world. So, I mean, we'll hear a lot, even during this conference, in a very transparent fashion, that there's also some negative impact on the environment with the use of AI. In the world that you're trying to build, do the benefits sort of overweigh? Is there a real role and real change that can be brought?
Yes, of course. I mean, it can be done at 2 levels. One is within each company that we invest in. So to give you a concrete example, we're an investor in a company whose name is Pebble, which is based in Stockholm. And what they do is they do future-proof materials where they're basically are replacing clinker and cement with a rock, a mineral rock that is storing CO2 in the process instead of emitting CO2 in the process. That is basically supercharging nature's power, which these rocks naturally store carbon. They just know how to accelerate it and turn it into a material that can replace the most polluting part of cement. So what you're doing is you're turning an industry that is heavily emitting into a net industry that is heavily storing CO2, which is great. But the reason they can be so efficient and so agile in execution, they started in 2022, and today they can actually produce in their demo plant in Rotterdam something around 2 tons per day, is that they actually are using AI to accelerate the industrial cycle and find the right product composition, right? They also do it as kind of internal onboarding to mix the different cultures between industry culture, so there's a lot of things which you can use, but I would say it can really be used to accelerate industrial cycles as well and ensure we can find the right qualities and properties into that. I'll give you a second example, which is quite interesting, is that whenever you look about building a fertile future, at some point you land on the ocean. Ocean is such a dead angle in everyone's mind. We don't realize our own lives are based and we can survive because the ocean is cooling the climate, because the ocean is feeding 3 billion people on Earth, and because basically they're such a regulator and the ocean is producing oxygen as well, so it's kind of our lifesaver today. And no one's investing in the ocean. So at some point when we started looking at it, of course we looked at the science to understand how it worked and what were solutions and what was the most probable solution to really fix this and make us kind of just being able to eat enough, eat healthily in the future. And what we realized is that it's a complete different landscape from a financial standpoint. We don't know who could be our co-investors. It's all about blended finance. You need the debt people to work with the equity people. You need philanthropy in to start funding the company. You need to understand where the grants go and which are the projects that can go and have a business model. So we need the mapping of all these actors, and it's by nature international. The ocean is international, right? So for that, we co-developed a platform as well, but which is ecosystemic, and it's a commons. It's like fully open source. So we could map every investors and every solutions out there and be able to to do some matchmaking after within your criteria. So it's also a way to integrate a new vertical that is blue ocean unknown by a lot of investors by using AI to go faster, to map everyone and to find the right solutions.
Okay, so if we listen to you, AI is definitely not an enemy of sustainable investment.
No, it depends how you use it, of course.
Alors, I think the people here, by definition, because they're on this stage, we can fairly assume that they're early adopters and promoters of AI. As a sort of technology provider and looking across the industry, what's sort of the trend? Is sort of the world of investment everyone's in? Are they lagging behind, still considering? What are you seeing?
Yeah, it's a question that I get a lot actually. Is there one specific sector or like ideal profile of an early adopter? And I guess the investment community, VC, PEs, hedge funds are pretty representative, which is that there's not one specific sector or, it's very company dependent. So in every sector, it's company dependent, it's probably board dependent, and we do those early adopters. The one thing they have in common is that they're looking for that extra hedge, meaning how AI agentic can really accelerate my time to market and give me a competitive advantage. So of course VC, PEs, because you guys are looking for that alpha, that extra edge, are perfect candidates for that. I'd say the three themes that I particularly hear from the investor community. One is the need to accelerate the time to market. I love, Pauline, that you mentioned, we really anticipate a faster decision-making process. So time to market. Second is the ability to extend the benefits of AI and agentic to non-IT experts. And the third theme is the importance of building trust in the AI applications. So if I say a few words on each, on the accelerated time to market, I think we're really in a position where I don't think there's really a question mark on the ROI and the business benefits of agents. It's more a question of how do I scale that without tripling my teams? And it's why at Google we try to build platforms with built-in security, built-in connectors so that people, without tripling their teams, can really adopt and build those agents at scale. On the second topic, I mentioned accelerated time to market. The importance of trust. I wanted to say a few words about grounding because it's a lot of people want to make sure that the IT AI systems that they built are really trustworthy, and the importance of grounding is super key, especially if you analyze, financial numbers. Grounding is this idea that the output of your application will cite to the sources, whether it's in your enterprise data on third-party reliable sources like Moody's, and Google is very differentiated in that space. And the third topic, the ability to extend agents to non-IT experts. I love what you mentioned, the very mundane task that you always do, which is comparing specific profiles or sending an email to reach out to someone in the network. Those are typical agents that can be created and used by non-technical experts. And it's really a key motto for us, making sure that AI is useful for everyone. So again, those are the three themes that we see a lot. Making sure that we help scale, accelerate the time to market, the importance of grounding to build trust, and the ability to extend these benefits to non-IT experts. All this in an obviously sovereign manner. I see this big banner of Sens. At Google Cloud, we try to meet customers where they are and really meet their sovereignty objectives as well, which we're trying to answer with the sovereign offering as well.
Excellent, thank you. Very, very clear perspective. If we look to the future now, perhaps Michael, if we imagine the world of sort of the investment, the venture capital, the private equity that's really fully embracing AI in some ways what you have done, what Ardian is doing, what Marie is doing, what will it look like? Where do you think will change the size of the team, how fast we go, how fast we do deals? Where do you see the main changes coming?
I mean, theoretically, you can imagine a world where even an AI is investing completely autonomous. We had a funny discussion with our firm is, do we need all of us actually in the future? Ultimately, we think yes. So I think you can do a lot more with a lot smaller teams. Or what you then would do, you would take the money and invest in supporting the company and just generating more value. So I think if you can create more value with €1, you would just invest the same amount and just create a lot more value, which is, I think, why we're going to see a lot of productivity gain through AI. The one thing, and that's especially true, I think, or I don't know if PE and VC are so different in that team, but especially anything that's human. If you have, for example, team conflicts, it's pretty difficult. If you have team members who are really, or C-level members who are really not getting along, and then it's hard for me to say, hey, now chat with this AI and solve it all. So these are some of the topics that I think you still need humans. Or, for example, what's very important for us is the question, is somebody really a passionate founder? Does he have grit? Or is it just what we call a lifestyle founder and he thinks being a founder is the fastest way to his Porsche? And that's also, you need to really dig deep into his CV and into some data points in his history. Why does he have to found this company and can't sleep?
Sounds really like a fun world. Marie, perhaps a question for you. Where are you seeing some of the challenges in actually trying to have a greater adoption of AI, the use of AI, either within the companies that you're backing or within 2050? What are sort of some of the challenges that you're seeing?
Oh, I think that one of the challenges, where do you start? Because there's so many applications that you can use it for. And so the ultimate question is, of course, you want more productivity, but where can you create more value is different, right? So, and I think one of the places where we found it to be the most valuable, both for us as a firm, as an investor, but also for the companies themselves, is when we applied AI to augment our alignment process. So we have a way to do exactly what you said within the firms, which is when we invest in a company and after when we support them, the first thing we want to understand is what is the founder's personal motivation long term? Where do they see themselves in 10 years from now, for example? And once you've done that, you want to see what their motivations are for the company. And it's important to dissociate the two of them, because when you, of course, have several founders as well, it's a way of repositioning them in time. You do that regularly, so you ensure the alignment long term. And once you've done that, what you want to see is, okay, if you want to be there long term, this is kind of our compass, or where we want to stand in terms of team, in terms of business, our place in the ecosystem, the impact we want to have on society, on the planet, and the governance we want to have to kind of maintain that alignment in time. You go back and you say, if you want to be there in 10 years, where should we be in 2 to 3 years' time from now? And then, and this is where the AI piece is really interesting, it's what are the tensions today within the company that are preventing us from achieving the 2 to 3 year plan, which usually is the time to fundraise the next round. And so we have built together with the We Are Human team, which is the Kahoot founders, a product which is a tension interviewer that we do with the founders and the board members to understand exactly 360-degree what are the tensions today that are preventing the company to be super agile and go fast and reach the 2 to 3 years milestone. And that allows us to go so much faster into analyzing the tensions and building solution plan that is built within the OKRs to execute and ensure we are solving the right stuff.
That sounds really amazing. I wonder if there's a lot bigger application for this tension identifier, probably within my teams as well. I should see if I can try it out.
We can try.
Excellent. And Laura, maybe in terms of sort of technology and what we can expect on the Google roadmap, what are some of the things coming that you think will really make a difference, help accelerate, help alleviate some of the challenges that the investment companies are facing today?
Sure. So I guess our mission is really to bring the best of AI innovation from Google, from our research lab, DeepMind, from Google Research, and really bring concrete business benefits for you guys, for you in the audience. And I love what you said, it's not science fiction, it needs to be super tangible. And I guess we have probably 3 main guiding principles: innovation, openness, and support in the form of upskilling. Innovation, it's really core to our mission. You might have heard last week was a big week for AI at Google. We launched new models, including Gemini 3, that receives tons of amazing feedback. You can test it. We have the image generation tooling, which you can put some very complex, like financial regulation, and ask Gemini to give you a visual representation. It's pretty amazing. So that's on the innovation side. On the openness, that's definitely something that sets us apart. A lot of our agentic capabilities, we have a platform called Gemini Enterprise that is built on very open standards, ADK, A2A, you might have heard this, open standards. And it's really key because we don't want to create solutions that kind of increase the vendor lock-in. Everything is super open, so anything that is built can be reused in the future. And it's one of the reasons why companies like Wells Fargo in the US or Deutsche Bank are using our solutions. And the third aspect is upskilling. It's very key because you shouldn't really underestimate, even though the technologies are very intuitive, and when you see it, you're like, oh, I can totally see that changing my world. Actually, unless people do hands-on keyboard activities, it's difficult for them to really grasp the business benefit that it can have. Yesterday, Groupama put out a case study explaining how our solutions help, analyzing data by 50%. And the team, and actually some of them are in the audience, actually did a hackathon in Bucharest to get the teams to do that. So upskilling is a key part of this. So again, big guiding principles, innovation, the openness, and really upskilling at all levels. In our experience, it needs to be both bottom-up, top-down, for people to really grasp the business benefits of the technology.
Excellent. We spoke a lot about the way you invest, the way you are identifying companies. What about supporting the portfolio companies once they're there, or as you're talking to them? Pauline, maybe in your opinion, does a GP partner have like a really, real serious role to play? Do you think tomorrow a fund that has done nothing with AI, a potential portfolio company said, well, they have nothing to offer to me, I'll go pick someone else? How important is that part?
Yeah, it's very important. For us, it was really the start of the data science team. We started the data science team in 2018 as really a way to find new ways of working with portfolio companies and to bring them. We had the conviction that we could not only bring capital to portfolio companies, but also operational expertise. It was a bit we were thinking that private equity funds made a lot of money out of interest rates decreasing, but that was from the past. And so we needed to create real operational value inside of portfolio companies. So the data scientists really work hand in hand with the management teams. It also helps to build a different relationship with the management teams of our portfolio companies, because we're not only the shareholders sitting at the board and looking at the P&L, but they see that we actually want to work with them on a day-to-day basis to find new ways of improving operations. And so that has been very efficient. We started within the infrastructure fund, so it was easier in a way because we invest in 3 verticals. We invest in energy, transport, and digital infrastructure. And so we had the benefit of the scale of the investment fund. If you want to build an AI model that really means something, you need a lot of data. And that's oftentimes the issue in private markets. You don't have access to high volume of data. So with us being a large investment fund, we can consolidate all the data from portfolio companies, build models, and give them back the insight, the operational insight that we find. And there are good chances that if you find a use case that is meaningful for a wind farm in Spain, it's meaningful for a wind farm in Italy. There are specificities, but still. So that's really how we started, and we've had a really good success. So now we are expanding the data science team on other more generalist funds of Ardian. But there are always use cases that come all the time, like churn analysis, how to improve margins. So basically, all the analysis that cannot be done with Excel, you do it with the data science. It's statistics at scale.
Excellent. Okay, well, so much to be done with AI in investing, much to be done with AI supporting portfolio companies, lots of exciting things coming from technology, and definitely not an enemy of sustainability if used well, if the way you said it. Thank you so much to our speakers. Thanks to you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your summit.